you over here.
Over there. Says down.
Yep. Okay, try it now. There you go.
Okay. Can you not bend this? Like cut it
Nope.
and nope. Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Put this over here. I don't know if I should frame it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's not gonna read it this way. Up or down?
Right there. Okay. I got it. we've put the starter strip for the remaining sections here around the lakeside of the house. So we got the all of the aluminum put up, the starter strip, the zip tape back to the zip sheathing. So we're all set here. It's looking really good. We used the rotary laser to set the bottom channel, the starter strip, so it's all bang on. And then I was measuring up to give us a control line up at the top here that snapped, the red line. So that's how high the stone's going to come up to in this section here, all around the lake side of the house. We are waiting on the trim. So there's going to be a 4-inch trim around the edge of the window, and so kind of need that to be able to finish this section here. That's kind of why we've been jumping around a little bit here in terms of doing the fourth course here, and then kind of left it back on this side. Trouble is, we don't know when the trim is coming, so I think I'm going to just have to rip some boards and kind of put that up and use that as a line to work towards, and so that we can finish here. And then we'll just, when the trim does come, we'll just slide it in after. We're going back and forth about here. We were talking about cutting this down a bit before the sill. So that's this stuff here that Catherine stained. So we're kind of going back and forth about, do we leave a full course here, a full course of stone? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then we put the stone and then just rip the trim. It'll be a little less than the 4-inch on the sides, but I don't know. It's a lot of work to cut each of these stones down and put a groove on just to set this trim down, probably that much. So we'd have to notch out the stone and everything and do that all around. Or do we just finish these 4 courses like they are and then put the trim on here, this cap, and then just, you know, cut the difference here. So we'd probably have to trim about 1 inch off of the trim in order to make that fit. But I think that's the route I'm leaning towards. At least for this side here, it all works out good. But over here, these windows are set a little lower because they were a little taller than the other bedroom ones, and so I think, you know, it's going to be like that much, so it might be 2 inches off. But I think in the end, I think that's the better choice, to rip the trim down than to cut the stone. I just really like the look of the full stone. So anyways, that's what we're thinking of doing. So now it's time to continue on the stone here, and so we'll get that going. Found out the trim that we're using is 3.5 inches. So I ripped a board 3 5/8 just to give us a little room for caulking and a little bit of wiggle room, just to be on the safe side. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring all of the stone up to this board, and this way we can finish this section of wall, and then I can remove this board, and hopefully the trim just slides in there perfectly. So anyways, that's what we're going to do. So we want to continue moving on with the stone here, so figured that was the best solution. just need a blade taken off. Okay, there we go. That final cut that Catherine made. Perfect for the top there. So ripping that board down has given us a nice straight line to work off of. And so we were able to finish up this section here. We still have the top cap that's going to go up there, and then down here it's the bottom cap. The bottom cap will go down here. So we're going to now switch gears and go to this side. So I'll just take that board off now and reuse it for this other side. And yeah, we can fill in this whole section, because that's a pretty good section here that we've got in terms of the height and everything. And then wrap it around the corner here and onto this section here. So we'll get going on that after lunch. Okay, there we go. We got this section of the cap complete under the window here, and then above this section. Gets finicky fitting the miters, especially this outside miter. I had to get the grinder and just grind the very top here. This cornerstone was, I guess, I don't know, in the mold or whatever, it was kind of out of alignment a bit, and so I just used the grinder grinding down the top there just so it would sit nicely. And now you can see the miter looks much better. We put a little bit of caulking in there just to hold it all together, and here's what it looks like here at the inside corner. That came out really nice, except for the dust now from the grinding, but that'll wash off. And then along here at the top, so I think it looks really good. Just finishes it off nicely, and then we'll bend some aluminum that comes down and over here, hides this, covers the gap here, and again, that'll get taped to the zip sheathing, and then the wood siding will go above that, so that'll just make a nice transition from the wood siding to the stone here. So anyways, it's looking good around the side here, and so now we have to continue on down the line here. Alrighty.
Okay.
Speaking of pick it up, let's pick it up.
Going from the corner out.
No, we're
No?
going from here.
Okay. So, what do I have there?
We can start with a 12.
Yep, then we're gonna be.
We're going from here over.
No, I understand.
So don't worry about that little, it is what it is. So you got a 12, or you want an 8? Huh?
I'm doing 8.
Oh, I'd like a 12, because then
Okay.
I didn't have to change that.
Okay.
Whew, hot over here.
You can move the tent. Kyla's like, what are we doing for Father's Day? I'm like, I'll put another 12.
Yep. Why is it like? Why don't they ever plan anything?
Well, you could have planned to come up here.
Okay, the 12 will just slide in there, or it may need a
A blade.
slight cut.
What are we doing for Father's Day? I'm like, oh, I will go visit mine when I get back to the city. That's what I'm gonna do, Father's Day.
Yeah, it needs a blade off them.
Okay.
Okay, and then what? An 8? Cut it twice.
I flipped it over and did the other side.
Okay.
How come?
Yeah.
Needs another blade?
Yeah.
Aye.
I said one blade.
Not enough of a blade.
No, a full blade. Will we go now? Huh?
I don't know, you shouldn't have glued it till we could dry it.
Shouldn't glue it until you dry it?
Dry check it.
No.
I did a blade. Look, the whole thing.
Okay, need 12-inch piece. Just to that side of the line. Okay? Basically, just take the line off. Thank you. Okay, here we are the next morning. This is where we left off the other day. So we just have this section to do up to the chalk line, and then around the corner here up to the chalk line. Everything else is done. We got the caps in along here, under the window, up top there. Caps all done. We got our plug roughed in. This cap is all done. All of the section along the wall here. These caps. I know the silver throws me off. That'll all be black trim. We're just waiting on the black trim that goes around all the doors and windows. So don't worry about the silver there. It looks funny. But yeah, walking along here. This section is all complete. And then over here, this section, the only thing left we have to do is the caps up here. So Catherine stained those. So we've got them on a skid. So we'll get Bob to bring that down, and then along with Larry here, we'll make short work of it, because it is a little high in some of the sections there. So and then the angle, it's hard to work off of a ladder when it's on a slope like this. So we've got Larry here, so we'll knock this out. So hoping to wrap all this stone up today here for this section. We still have over by the 3-season porch, but that'll be separate. So let's get started here. Okay, there we are, just like that. This section is done for the stone. We just have to work on the caps. So that was, I don't know, an hour and a bit. So we have some caps here that we'll get on now, and then this section is done for stone, at least. We still have the three-season porch. We have to wait for the package that we've ordered in terms of the windows. Well, we have to order it, sorry. And once that comes and we install that, it'll be a bunch of windows and screens and stuff like that. Then we can work around it, because I don't know what sort of trim pieces they have and things like that. So we have to get that installed first before we continue the stone around the top there. So. Okay, there we go. The cap is done for this section. So that wasn't too bad. Another half hour or so. And yeah, so this is looking really good. I'm happy with it. You? Are you happy with it too?
I'm ecstatic.
Awesome.
One more thing done.
Yeah, looks good. So we still have the section over by Larry, and so we're going to move over there now and do that section.
Slave driver.
Okay, I've got a bunch of the caps on a skid here. Bob brought it over beside Larry here. I've loaded some in Larry, and I'll get up there and start installing these caps. So we've got a bunch of step downs to do over here, so we'll I don't know how I'm going to do the vertical yet, but we'll figure out something in terms of mounting the clips and stuff. So let's get going here. What I'm trying to do is bring the cap across and bring it down, so run it vertically in this section here. And so I think what I need to do is, or what I've come up with, is to put a groove in the end of the stone along here, so that I can put the clips in, and it'll hold this vertical section of the cap. So I think that'll work. No different than the horizontal, right? So just put some vertical clips, so some spots, maybe every other stone, so I don't have to go crazy or anything with it. But I think just put in a few spots here, like I say, every other stone, and that should hold the cap in from twisting and pulling, potentially pulling out of here. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, there we go. Just cut a slot in with the grinder, and this will allow me to put clips in, like I say, every other stone here. So I'll put one there, and then got the slot cut in, and I think that'll do a great job in holding the stone cap on. think I need to do is, because this is running vertically, I need to extend this channel, cut this groove out so that I've got something to hold it, so that it just won't drop out. So I can slice that through, put another clip on, and go from there. There we go. I think that's going to work. Okay, I think that looks really good. Came together really nice on the miter, nice tight here. So yeah, that trick of putting the these clips in here and then this vertical one here to hold the vertical, that's gonna work. So I think what I'll do is I'll work on this one. We'll get this miter, and then I can just fill this piece in between here. So yeah, it's looking good. And then I can just cut this one. So that's an easy straight cut. So it's the miters that are hard, getting these to line up. And but I think the trick is to use the one stone, and so I mitered this out of the same stone instead of trying to bring two different stones together. It just doesn't seem to work as well. So at least for the outside corners. Maybe the inside corner it doesn't matter as much, but just so you get like this continuity between the two stones, so that they're basically in the same plane. So anyways, moving on to the next one. Okay, with these cuts, let's see how we did. I know one is 13 3/4. Let's see how this one fits in. Good. Okay, that one fits pretty good. Let's check this last one. I gotta cut the groove in slot here at the top to meet this one. Let me do that here. Got the grinder. There we go. There we go. Nice. There's a nice fit. go. I think that looks pretty good. Nice tight miter. This finishes off this section nicely. And then as we drop down here, we got this miter. That looks nice and tight. And so, yeah, I can just continue down the line here and go from there. Okay, there we go. Stone caps are done. Nice tight miters. There's a nice miter there. This one here, down here, nice vertical line here. This outside miter is done, and there we go. The stone cap just finishes it off. It looks, I think it looks great. So there, the lakeside here is all done, all under the windows. And then it jumps back up for this section here. We've got our electrical plug there. All of the caps are done on this bottom section here. All around the other side here, there's another electrical outlet there. Yeah, looks great. And then wraps around this corner here, this final section here, and another electrical plug there. So yeah, that's it for stone for now, at least. Still have the 3-season porch, but I waiting on the windows and screens for that section there. So can't do any more stone along here. But yeah, I think it looks great. And then here's the driveway side. So this was already completed earlier. So it wraps around the front door here, or the front porch at least. And this is where we stopped it. We don't know the exact size yet of the front door, so that's kind of why I'm waiting there. So yeah, need to figure out the size of the front door that we're going to get or build potentially. And then once we have that, then I can bring the stone around. And then same with over here, so they'll be all stone across here, and then it wraps around the side here to the 3-season porch, so it'll be all stone across here. And then again, I don't know the exact size of the door and all of the windows and screens that we're getting for here. So again, just waiting on that, and then I can finish the stone around the side there. So anyways, I think this is a good place to stop for this video. So thanks for watching. Check out the next one.